Right, I think we're on. Everything plugged in, just internet provider not providing. But it looks like we're okay now. Looks like we're on air. How's it? Welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to be discussing Dr. Matthew Lani, who appears to have been a fake doctor. What? A fake doctor? Yeah, a fake doctor. Dr. Matthew did a bad thing. TLS 0005. Looked like Mondays were jinxed for us, but I think we're on. Let me know in the comment section down below this video if you're watching and the stream is coming through okay on either Facebook or YouTube. It's the Tom London Show, and it's Monday. So how's it? How was your weekend? What did you do this weekend? What did it take? 17 minutes to get on. God bless the internet. It's the Tom London Show. I'm Tom London with you. We'll do an hour, don't worry. On a Monday night in a world gone mad. Gone mad, I tell you. A world gone mad. Just getting voice notes in before the show. Shall we go to a voice note? Let's see what this one has to say.
Good evening, Mr. London. It's 8:30. We are on our way home.
Yes.
Why is Mom rushing and driving so fast?
Why is Mom rushing?
Tom
London Show, yeah.
Why is Mom skipping a red robot?
Tom London Show.
Why has Mom got a hazard lights on?
Tom London Show.
Who is Mom's therapist?
Tom London Show.
Who's my
yes,
therapist?
Because you make me very happy. Have a good show, Tom.
Thank you. All right, the voice note line is open, and you can send a voice note just like Cheryl did through to that number, 067-219-7893, whatever's on your mind. You want to comment on a topic? Send me a voice note. That's the WhatsApp number in the studio, 067-219-7893. Lines are open, ready to take your voice notes. Let's take a look at some of the comments coming in. You're on board. That's nice to see. Thank you. Firstly, I've got to say thank you. Firstly, thank you to you if you tune in live, because that means you're an active participant on the show. And then secondly, thank you to you if you press play after the show. And there are a lot of people that do that. In fact, more people watch the show afterwards than watch it live, which is cool with me. I just want to say thank you to you. In fact, here's a video of somebody sent this to me, of the show being watched live in the lounge on a big screen TV. So I don't know if you know you can do that, but if you watch on YouTube or Facebook, you can cast the video to a big screen. Isn't that cool? So yeah, you could do that too. If you've got a smart TV, just send the signal from your phone to the TV, and all of a sudden, we're a TV show, not just a cell phone show. So, yeah, thanks to Nick for sending that in. They've got some more voice notes coming up on the show. They've been coming in nicely today before the show. And I will take yours and I'll put it on the air. All you have to do is send it to the voice note number. I'll be popping that number up on screen as we go through the show. I'd like to say thank you and welcome to our YouTube viewers. It's a small viewership, but it's growing show by show, and I'm really encouraged by it. So thank you. If you want to watch the show on YouTube, go to @The Tom London Show. Same for Facebook. We stream across a number of Facebook pages, but our official page is @The Tom London Show. So if you want to be part of the official page and the comments and all the conversations that fly around in the room there, then just type in @The Tom London Show in your search bar in Facebook, and it will take you off to the show. Wow, what a weekend, hey? I don't know how your weekend was. I'd like to know how yours was. Tell me in the comment section or leave a voice note. Grant Phillips from my hometown in Springs, and I used to stand, I think, next to Grant or a couple of people away in the choir back in the day in Springs Boys High. I was so scared of playing rugby that I'd break my legs. Or not that I'd break them, that the Afrikaans boys from Huguenot would break both of them, and I'd go off to the Far East Rand Hospital in an ambulance. So I signed up for the Student Christians Association, the knitting club, the crocheting club, the choir, and I used to say, Grant Phillips used to be in the choir. He was our star singer. We used to sing a song called Perhaps Love. And there's a part in the song, I mean, these are things you don't forget from your school days. Hey? I mean, you must have some things you don't forget from your school days as you watch the show. But I remember there was a part in the show where, in the original version of the song with John Denver and Placido Domingo says, perhaps love is like something. And then he changes, doesn't go melody, sings harmony. It goes, full of conflict, full of pain. And that was Grant's role in the song. I'll never forget it. Brings back all sorts of memories. Grant Phillips on board. Carlos Hartwell, I missed that. Are you late tonight? We are, but we're here. Thank you, Carlos. Good to have you on board. Kuwait. Really? Kuwait on board? Bronwyn, how nice to have someone watching us from Kuwait. And welcome to the show. Gaynor says, hi, Tom. Wendy Mechanic says, hello, Tom. Great to be on board. Wens from Brackban, my good old friend Wendy Mechanic on board. It's nice to have you with us, Wendy. Love you lots. Claire says, thought you disappeared. Brenda Beckett says, hi there, rather late than never. I've been keeping up with what the Becketts from Roodepoort Metals have been up to. Yesterday, they were posing in a picture in like checkers packets on Facebook. I had a good chuckle at that. Benjamin Jones says, welcome. Alistair Jameson says, at least you got power. Where I live, we've got continuous power, continuous water, and we should have continuous internet, but I think Vuma, can I name them? Come on, Vuma. 9 o'clock is not the time to reset your servers or whatever you are up to. Gaynor says, I was worried that I could not get to you. I was worried too. Sarah Key out of Morningside, Santon. How's it, Sarah? Been watching your pictures. The girls have grown up and having drinks together now. That's when you know they're not kids anymore. Hey? Patricia Skoltz out of Cape Town says, hi, everybody. We'll do a couple more. Maxine Smith, the Smith family, Lionel, Maxine, and Charlie Smith, who is 11 years old, watching out of the UK. My brother Nick Holmes says, hey, Tom, hey, everybody. Tammy Singh, I said, Tammy Singh is on board. Barry Bowditch says, the butler's missing again. I know I got to schlep him from the other side of the house to bring him here. And Nancy Wemers is on board. Also from over the seas, joins us, and thank you. Good to see the participants in the comment section. You are my characters. You are part of the show. Actually, this show doesn't work without you. Not at all. Now, I want to introduce you to a fake doctor. Well, he seems to be a fake doctor, and I'm going to ask you to be the judge and jury on this one in just a little while. Bronwyn Griffith says, first time seeing you live. Friend told me about you and said you were a must-see. Well, that's a good recommendation. Thank you. It was Maxine. Maxine's helping grow the listenership and the viewership. And that's how we're going to do it, right? One by one by one. I was really impressed with the viewer figures last week. Across the different platforms, we did 20,000 views for first week, so I was so happy about that. That made me smile. I had back pain this weekend, so I spent a lot of time on the couch, but a very dear human being came round, no details yet, and cooked for me, and I just had a wonderful time. So I hope you did too. F1 Grand Prix, Max Verstappen, the third time in a row Formula One world champion. Lewis Hamilton taking out his teammate in the first lap. Did you see that? I'm enjoying F1. Yeah, I am. We got people on from France. I see my brother saying bonjour. Lizelle Elliott. Bonjour. Ça va très bien et toi? Io parlo un poco italiano. I'm mixing languages now. I think, like you, living in this crazy world, you could not have gone through the weekend without noticing what was going on in Israel and Gaza. And it's very tempting when you do a talk show to use that topic because it is the number one topic in the world today. But, here's my but, and I hope you're not offended by my but. I'm going to speak from the heart here. I can't contribute to the debate for a number of reasons. One, I don't know enough. I don't know if any of us sitting across, in South Africa or other parts in the world that aren't exposed to the situation on the ground in the Middle East actually have a fair handle on it. Yes, we've got experts and we've got commentators. There's a lot of media products out there at the moment. I've been watching a lot of it over the weekends where, blame is apportioned and all sorts of details are discussed and thrown about. And I'm not the guy to do it. I can't fix it. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury on this matter. The most I can do as a human being, and in South Africa it's quite interesting because of our diversity. It's impossible in South Africa not to have friends from different religious groups, different race groups. And I think, you see, here I'm guessing, right? I don't know if I'm right, but I'm guessing. As South Africans, although we put ourselves down on a daily basis, I think we have to be one of the most tolerant nations on the planet. And I'm reminded of this whenever I go to a shopping center at the end of the month, one of these big malls, and just look at the different types of people we have in South Africa coexisting. We don't get it right all the time. But I think as a country, we still shine as an example to the rest of the world, or stand as an example, on how despite problems, despite issues, despite massive challenges that this country has, South Africans still manage to be decent human beings by and large. And that's something that makes me quite proud. But it also puts you in a difficult position when it comes to global issues like this, because you may have friends on either side of the argument. So it's hard. It's just hard as a human being, as a South African, with friends on both sides of this fence, to even comment on it, except to say, I can only wish and pray for peace. And that's the message I'd like to spread tonight, if I can spread anything, is that there are times in this world where things seem absolutely crazy, like the world's gone mad. And watching the images on Sky News this weekend and watching what's happening just left me feeling devastated, absolutely devastated for people in that area. And the sheer terror of it all. And without going into a political commentary, I just want to say that I'm, and I know other people are too, I'm praying, and I mean it, I'm praying for peace. And starting Monday, in a world that seems to have gone mad, I was like, what do we do? We're going to discuss a fake doctor in a moment, by the way. But and I need your help to be judge and jury on this one. But I thought perhaps we could just play Garth Taylor's Breathe for a second and just remind ourselves that we're all human beings, and what we need is peace and tolerance and love, and somehow, and it's a common thread between, it runs through relationships, it runs through friendships, it runs through businesses, it runs through neighborhoods, societies, countries, conflicts. Somehow find a way to reach over across the divide, find that will inside to make peace and not war. That's my wish. And so I'd like to start the show off with the song that this is the song I want to be the show's song, right? Because I think we need this in the world, individually and as a global community. I think we need to breathe. And so for a couple of seconds, we're going to start the show nice and gently on this Monday night with a bit of Garth and breathe. So, whatever's happened in your week,
when it all goes wrong, as you think there are no answers, you think you got to hide your heart away. Look, I know that it's not easy when the world is so uneasy to be strong today.
Here we go.
Just breathe and let things be what they be. It's not up to you and me. There's nothing you can do about it now. Just breathe and feel the way you feel. Even though you're falling down, don't think about it now. Just breathe. So now you think you're lost. There's no way you'll find your way home. You feel like you can't trust nobody else. No one else. I know that you're lonely in that place that you're only. Just be strong today. Just breathe and let things be what they be. It's not up to you and me. There's nothing you can do about it now. Just breathe and feel the way you feel. Even though you're falling down, don't think about it now. Just breathe.
Yeah. Life isn't easy at the best of times, is it? And then you throw in all the problems we've got on the planet. You gotta believe that there's a silver lining at the end of that dark cloud. I'm a believer, and I'm a practitioner, and I'm a prayer, and I believe if we all want the same thing, we get it. Okay, voice note line is open, and I want to talk about the most talked about story, South African story, that is, in South Africa today. Are you ready? Are you ready to play judge and jury? Judge and jury now. Yeah. Did I tell you we're going to be checking out a fake doctor? Well, I think he's fake. You're going to help me out with this one. You ready? All right, so the doctor's name is Dr. Matthew. You're going to love this story. Don't go anywhere. Sometimes I wonder if a fake doctor can do as good a job as a real doctor. Sometimes I really do wonder that sometimes. Do you remember there was a story, a guy was flying SAA planes as a captain for years, like decades, and I think it was about 5 years ago they were flying into Germany, this was before COVID, flying into Germany, and he made some mistake for the first time in decades, and the German air traffic services went something wrong here and started the investigation. And then they found out that the guy'd been flying SAA planes for years and years and years, didn't even have a pilot's license. Do you remember that story? This is something similar, but this is a doctor. Well, it appears as if he's not. This has been raging on X for a couple of days, by the way. This has been the hot story on X in South Africa today. Dr. Matthew. I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Matthew. Are you ready? I'm going to play you a couple of videos. The first video I'm going to play you is of Dr. Matthew. So Dr. Matthew has been spitting advice on Twitter. And somebody wants to know, Barry Bowditch, why is your Coke on the right-hand side for the first time? Because I didn't think you could see it if it's on the left. Can you? You can? All right, back to the original position. Important stuff first, right? So there's this guy called Dr. Matthew. Young guy. Opened a Twitter account. Dr. Matthew Larney, right? And he's been giving advice. People have been watching his videos and taking him seriously. I think he's also been selling some products. Shall we start with the first video? And I want to ask you if you think this guy is genuine or not, because he's saying he is. He's adamant that he's genuine, and people are saying he's not. So here comes, I haven't put the whole piece of advice, because if he is just talking rubbish, I don't want to perpetuate it. But I'll give you a bit, right? So here's Dr. Matthew.
Here. So you guys take note on this video,
shingles.
and you guys wanted to know what condition that is. So that right there is shingles. So shingles is the reactivation of the chickenpox virus. So for anybody who has had chickenpox before, you can develop shingles. We still don't know what reactivates the virus.
I mean, it looks like he knows what he's talking about. You see, he looks young, but he does look like he knows what he's talking about, right? So I was watching these videos and thinking, he sounds like a doctor.
Hey guys, Dr. Matthew here. Our hormonal tea is dropping in South Africa in a couple of days. We are just waiting for our labels, and then it's going to be...
And I think he even had a video on piles. Have I got that one? Let's just check if I got the piles video.
Hey guys, Dr. Matthew here. Let's talk about the dangers of Savannah.
Hold on.
Savannah
Before
is...
I play this one. This is the video that would have made me think twice about this guy not being a doctor. I've dated a doctor, and I can tell you that doctors are very, very, very serious about their jobs. You can't joke with a doctor about their job. I've learned this the hard way. You can't make jokes with doctors about their doctoring. That's just some advice from me to you if ever you're going to date a doctor. If you don't want the relationship to go south, don't make jokes about the doctor's job. Because they're very, very serious people, doctors. Very serious. Dealing with life and death and stuff like that all day. They generally don't behave like clowns. They're not broadcasters, right? They're serious. And this video is the one that would have made me think there's something Hey guys, Dr. Matthew here. Let's talk about the dangers of Savannah. Savannah is one of the leading causes of kidney failure, high blood pressure, pancreatic cancers, oral cancers, and also cause infant defects. You see, just hold on. Here it comes. Wait for it. This is the giveaway. This is the giveaway. Come on. Yes, youngin. Where was I, Conja? Oh, come on. The dangers of alcohol. Dr. Matthew, eh? So, Dr. Matthew has been all over Twitter. He's been dispensing advice and talking about the dangers of alcohol, etc., etc. Let me see what you've got to say so far, right? I haven't played you everything yet. But let's see what you got to say, right? Nicole Patterson says, arrest him. They arrested and jailed the fake pediatrician in Kempton Park some years ago. Hold on a moment. We interrupt this very important topic to bring in Patricia Ann Scholz's message. It's Cheryl's fault, Patricia. She sent me a message before the show saying, please can you turn the cushion around to mess with the people who have a problem with the cushions not being straight. So there we go. All right, we sorted that out. That was fun, hey, Cheryl? You need to watch Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks, says Tammy Singh. I've watched that movie about 5 times. A guy called Frank Abagnale. The interesting thing about Frank Abagnale is if you go to YouTube, look for some of the work he's done where he presents on, I think, to Google, where he actually stands and he gives an hour-long talk. fascinating stuff and insights into the mind of a con artist. And when you watch it, I always wonder, we see a reformed con artist that now works for people to expose con artists. Okay, I get that. But does it ever leave their system? That's what I want to know. Tammy Singh says, well, the first red flag is giving advice on social media. Barry Bowditch says his lips are moving. All right, so you don't believe him, eh? Tammy Singh says he could have Googled that, like we all do now, eh? But Googling is dangerous. You have a headache and you Google headache. Next thing you know, you've got a brain tumor. I am bad when it comes to stuff like that. I stay away from the internet when I'm feeling down. If I'm feeling crook, as the Australians would say, I don't go anywhere near Google. If I've got a little spot on me, I've done this before. I remember I had a spot on my face, and there's a history of skin cancer in my family, and I looked at it and I thought, that doesn't look good. So I went to Google and I typed in, XYZ blotch on the face, and then Google said, you've got 6 months to live. That was about 5 years ago. But for 6 months I was convinced. I don't go anywhere near Google. It's like reading the side effects of tablets. You just don't want to do that. It's going to give me what? Huh? Extended polio? From a headache tablet? You can't be serious. Google. You're right, he could have Googled that. Alistair Jameson. Dr. Jameson. Epstein-Barr virus causes shingles. You reckon he got that wrong, eh? Alistair Jameson, therefore he must be lying, right? Cheryl agrees. Boss's daughter was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr first time I'd heard of it. Lizelle says, I have so much to say about this. I have 1 million followers on TikTok every day. Literally, I have doctors following me. The guy is a scam artist. Man. Now, I'm not a con artist, so I don't understand the mind of a con artist. But surely you know, if you're going to be making videos and putting them up on TikTok for the world to see and then saying you're a doctor, somebody's going to do an investigation. Well, there's nothing like the TikTok crowd and the Twitter crowd to start the investigation, and they did with Dr. Matthew, right? And Dr. Matthew came back with a defense. Now, I got to tell you, when I saw these defense videos coming up, I was thinking, this guy could be telling the truth, man. Maybe he is a doctor. People were saying things like, hold on, you don't have a matric certificate. He had an answer. People saying, well, why don't you ever film in hospitals? He had an answer. Take a look.
I get this question a lot. When did I finish matric? Okay, so firstly, I don't have a matric certificate. I have a high school diploma because I got a scholarship to study through the Cambridge International Schools. So I actually have a high school diploma from Cambridge University. But to answer your question, I skipped 3 grades during my schooling years. So I skipped grade 4, grade 6, and grade 8. And then I finished school when I was 16. So I went to medical school when I was 16. And then I graduated from Wits Medical School at the age of 21. And then became a working doctor at the age of 22. Now I am 24 and I've been a doctor for 3 years. Now I'm doing community service. And next year, I'm going to be a medical officer at the age of 25.
See, I kind of believed him when he said that. I really did. I kind of believed him. Alistair says Doogie Howser from Soweto. And that's an interesting comment because Doogie Howser was the young doctor on television. Hey, maybe he modeled himself on that. Lizelle says, I think Cambridge may disagree. He didn't stop there, by the way. This, and I think that's what got people confused, because normally when a con artist gets caught, they run. They get out of there, right? Doogie Howser, says Benjamin. That's a good one. But normally con artists, they duck. You try and look for a con artist after they've been exposed, they're gone. But he didn't. He kept defending. I mean, he didn't stop with that last video. He kept on.
Lani
some more,
is
right?
not my legal surname.
This is about his name now.
That is my social media handles. It's not my legal surname. I don't use the Lani surname in my IDs. Zingelwa is my legal surname.
You want another one? Here's
Okay,
another one.
so not me being reported to the HPCSA. So on Monday, I get an email from the HPCSA, and it basically states that so a concerned member of the public has lodged a complaint against you. Can you please call the Health Profession Council of South Africa? So I do that, and then the lady that I speak to is like, no. So somebody from TikTok, they were concerned because they said that they've never seen you posting videos of you in a hospital or a doctor's office. And when they tried searching your name on the registrar, you did not appear. So they think that you're a fake doctor. So I had to now give the HPCSA my full name, my PayCell number, my HPCSA number for them to confirm that I'm registered with them. And yeah, like an hour or two later, they call back. They're like, okay, no, everything is fine, whatever. So let me just clarify something. First of all, there is the POPI Act and there is the RICA Act, the protection of personal information. A hospital is a place where there is confidentiality at its level. You can't go into a hospital and start videoizing any way that you want to videorize.
All right, I think I'm going to leave it there because he's going blah, blah, blah a bit too much. And I think Liesel's on the money. The doctor doth protest too much, right? I think when you see that, and that's when I started going, hold on a moment, there's too much explaining here. All you have to do is, all doctors get a certificate, it's got their name on it, the university has an MBCH, whatever degree, XYZ. And you could just hold that up, or you could stand in the parking lot and, the hospital he works at and say, this is where I work. But all from the bedroom. Which, it made people suspicious. And there's nothing like the Twitterati and there's nothing like the TikTok crowd to do an investigation. People started calling the HPCSA and asking about him. And then he said, you saw the video, it's not his name that he practices under. He gave another name. There is a doctor by the other name registered, but apparently the other doctor's life has been made hell because of this youngster. And you'd think he'd stop there and just go away. But no, Dr. Matthew kept going, right? Here's one from the bucket.
Hey guys, Dr. Matthew. Firstly, to all the colleagues that have been calling me this morning to check if I'm okay. I'm okay, guys. It's my birthday, and you guys are not even calling to say happy birthday. You guys are literally just calling me because of what's going on Twitter. So I don't have Twitter, so it was brought to my attention by my friends last night that I was trending on Twitter. So I had to now go download it, create a profile to see why I was trending. And honestly, when I saw the reason I was trending, I rolled my eyes and then I just continued with what I was doing. And the reason for that,
some more blah, 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 blah. But the last video I'm going to show you is the last one I think he posted, which I think his hand action at the end of this video is pretty much what the police are going to do to this guy. Here we go. You ready? You ready? This is what's going to happen to you, Dr. Matthew. They're going to finish and claw you, my man. So that was the number one South African story in the country today online, Dr. Matthew. And it looks like he has been conning people. Confirmation, it seems, came in later today when Wits University, where he says he got his qualifications from, put out this statement. Wits University is obliged to set the public record straight. Well, when they start like that, he's done. Following claims by Dr. Matthew Lani on various social media platforms, and based on the names presented to the institution and the facts on hand, the university cannot find any person who graduated by the name of Dr. Matthew Bongani Zingelwa. And I'm sorry, the writing is very, very small here. I need to go closer to the screen. Or Sanele Zingelwa in recent years, requesting Dr. Matthew Lani to retract any such claim with immediate effect. And that came from Wits University. So, he's a con man. And I wonder how many people were taking him seriously. We've had these examples of people practicing as doctors before, without licenses. And I know it's naughty of me to think it, but I always wonder, how many of their diagnoses did they get right? Were they good doctors even though they didn't have the certificate? I mean, he obviously wants to be a doctor, just hasn't put in the time. And I guess this is how Thabo Bester started. Thabo Bester started as a young con man, conning people into thinking he needed money for school trips and things, even when he wasn't in school anymore, running around Joburg in a school uniform, taking money off people with good hearts. Con men don't look like con men, do they? They always look sweet and innocent, like butter would not melt in their mouth. And I'd like a con man story from you. You got a con man story from you? You ever been conned? You ever been conned before? If you have, leave me a voice note. Tell me about the con. I'll play the voice note. I really want to swap con artist stories tonight. It is interesting, isn't it, that in this day and age, you could put a cell phone in front of yourself and say you're a nuclear physicist, and if you're convincing enough, a whole bunch of people, possibly millions, will believe you until somebody fact checks it. Then it all changes. Let's see, should we go to the voice note line? Let's see what we got from the voice note line. We're taking your voice notes, numbers up on screen. Let's go to this one.
Hello, Tom.
How's it?
This Vickers here from Van der Bijl Park.
Vickers!
This Dr. Matthew is quite a character, eh?
Yeah, he's quite a character.
But listen, Tom.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something. And that
go
is,
ahead.
Have you ever been conned by a con man?
Oh, you're sending the question back to me there, because have I ever been conned by a con man? Nobody wants to admit this, do they? See, Alistair said the music was a bit loud, so Alistair, let me know if it's okay now. I don't want to drown my voice out with the music, so thank you for letting me know. All right, I got 2 con man stories. Let's swap some stories. You can leave your story on a voice note on 067-219-7993. We'll open the lines. Maybe we'll get a call or 2 just now. Let me take you back to Benoni. About 20 years ago, I was putting together a nightclub, and we were putting lights up. And the front door should have been locked and closed, but it wasn't. And this guy walked in. We all got a bit of a fright, like, who's this guy? I was on a ladder, and I came down the ladder, and there was this very innocent-looking man standing there, and he went, "Excuse me." I said, "What are you doing inside? Can I help you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm looking for a jeweler. Do you know where a jeweler is?" This was in Princes Avenue, Benoni. I said, "Yeah, 3 blocks down the road, there's a jeweler." And then I made the mistake that con men just wait for you to make. I went, "Why?" And he said, oh wow, what a story. He started crying. And he had these big blue eyes. And he said, I was engaged to a lady and we had a child. The kid's a baby now. And we had relationship problems, and she left me a week ago. And I ain't got no money. But I bought this watch for her birthday. And now she's not around anymore, so I want to see if I can sell it to the jeweler so I can buy some baby food. And my lumpy custard heart went, ach, shame, man. And my brain went, careful, he's not a con artist, Thomas. Because I was switched on. I'm a sharp guy. I don't get conned. And I said to him, what kind of watch is it? And it was a Michelle Herbelin. Do you remember about 20 years ago, Michelle Herbelin was a name? Before the, now we're used to Tag Heuers and we're used to Breitlings and Rolexes and stuff, but back then, that was a watch, man. And I had a girlfriend at the time that always wanted one. And I thought, well, what a nice opportunity to please my girlfriend. And I said to him, how much do you want for the watch? And he said, $700. The watch was worth thousands. And it was still in the case, hadn't been opened. And I still thought the guy could be a con man. So I said, tell you what, get in the car with me, we'll drive down to the jeweler, and if the jeweler says this watch is genuine, I'll buy it from you. I had the money in my pocket. And he got in the car with me. And I started driving down the main road to go to the jeweler, and I thought, but why would anyone get in the car with me if the watch was fake? Surely it's not fake. He's got to be telling the truth. I went a block, I stopped the car, I gave him the money, he gave me the watch. And later that afternoon, I had this sinking feeling in my stomach that I'd been conned. So I went to a friend who was a jeweler, his name was Manu. And I went to Manu, and I was too embarrassed to tell him I bought the watch. And I said, Manu, this guy wants to sell me this watch. Is it genuine or not? And I gave it to him. And as he held it, he said, it's a fake. And he gave it back to me. And I said, how did you know? He said, the weight. He says, don't buy it. I said, no, thank goodness you warned me before I bought it, Manu. Thank you very much. I'm not going to pay the guy the money. And I walked out thinking, gee, Thomas, you are an idiot. You will never, ever, 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 ever be conned again. That's what I thought. But I'm sad to report that is not the case, because about 5 years later, I was at a friend's business. End of the day, locked the business. We were sitting in the showroom at his desk, chatting, when there was an almighty bang at the door. And we ran to the door, panic-stricken. Who's this? Banging, banging, banging at the door. And at the door was this really well-dressed lady in like a business suit. And she was hysterical, crying, unable to get words out, hysterical. And we let her in. In South Africa, you think, what's happened? She's been mugged, hijacked, robbed, something gone wrong. She said, my child, my child. So what happened to your child? See, this is what the con men do. They get you to ask the question. And the two of us went, what happened to your child? She said, I've got builders at home and he fell and he's injured and they've taken him to hospital in an ambulance and he's off to Morningside Clinic. So we said, what do you need? Do you need a ride there? Can we take you to Morningside Clinic? She said, no, my car's parked outside. We looked outside, true's Bob, there was a car, emergency indicators flashing. It's an emergency. And she said, I just need $800 because I'm short of that to get him into the emergency ward. And the two of us looked at each other and dug into our pockets and found 800 Rand and gave it to her. And a little voice inside my head said, Thomas, careful you're not getting conned. So I said, will you give us your phone number so that we can call you and find out if your kids are right? And she did. She gave the phone number and off she drove. And as she drove away, I looked at my friend and he looked at me. And both of our faces were probably saying the same thing. Do you think we just got conned? So we tried the phone number and it said, the number you have dialed does not exist. And I thought, not again. Second time. Really? Called Morningside Clinic. Has a kid been brought in? No. So I've been conned twice in my life. The good thing about that one was I was working on talk radio at the time and I put it on air. You know, I spoke about it and people called from all over Johannesburg and said they'd been conned by the same lady. So I put out a talk radio APB and we caught her and she went to jail. So I've been conned twice and I've put one of them in jail. Probably still running around Joburg with her bonnet up at the side, not her bonnet, the car's bonnet up. On the side of the road somewhere asking for petrol money. But I've been hit twice by con artists. Old Dr. Matthew Lani. Confidence, eh? You gotta have confidence or a mental illness. Sometimes I wonder whether there's not a mental illness behind this kind of thing. Yeah, that sinking feeling, eh? Says Alistair. I know the sinking feeling well. It's a horrible feeling when you've been conned by someone and then you get that sinking feeling. Because you just know it and you don't want to believe it. Let's take a voice note. Voice note line's open. You can send a voice note now, 067-219-7893. Here's Craig out of Kempton.
Hey Thomas, Craig from Kempton. How's it, man? Just checking up on you and see if you're watching the rugby. The
I
World
think-
Cup's almost over, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Thomas, Craig.
Before we get to rugby, Craig, let's just explain to new international viewers what "how's it" means. Right?
Hey, Thomas, Craig from Kempton. How's it, man?
How's it, man? Okay. If you're watching from a country other than South Africa and you haven't been exposed to South Africans or the country before, how's it is our way of saying hello. It cuts across all sorts of languages. It's a very friendly way of saying hello, how are you? And you can answer how's it in many different ways. Someone says how's it to you, you can say how's it back. Someone says how's it to you can say no, y'all well, no, fine, brew, and you? Or you can go get grand, get sharp. Yeah, alles is okay. How's it? All right, let's get back to Craig in Kempton.
Hey, Thomas, Craig from Kempton. How's it, man?
How's it, man?
Just checking up on you and see if you're watching the rugby. The World Cup's almost
you know I'm not. You know I'm not watching the rugby. We're still talking
over,
about
man.
rugby.
You got to watch it. You can't call yourself a Springbok or a South African unless you watch the
I'm not a Springbok.
We through to the quarterfinals
South
on
Africa.
Friday or
Yeah.
Saturday. We
Yeah.
play France. We're going to smash them.
You see?
We're going all the way this year.
To me, that sounds like the back of this Coke can. When you start talking about smashing the French and knock-ons and things, I just hear owned by Coca-Cola, Beverages South Africa Limited, 15 Ethel Drive, Clayville, Gauteng, XYZ, fish-based. Craig, I hope you're enjoying the rugby, and I do hope we'll win. If we get to the final, I'll be there, screaming like I've always been a rugby supporter and that I know every rule in the game. Alistair out of Primrose left a voice message. I think. Well, there's nothing on this. It's just blank. Oh no, it's
End of
not.
last year.
Sorry, that's me. Not twisting my knob.
In Primrose. Well, I was still living in Cape Town just prior to coming back to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
End of last year. I was conned out of all my camera equipment.
What? All your camera equipment?
Because I was asked to sell my equipment to pay for certain things. Long story. But some guy contacted me saying he was from Bishop's Court. And on the day that we were supposed to sell
sorry,
the
I'm
stuff,
laughing.
or I was going to sell it and get the money from him, he sent me a message 15 minutes before we were supposed to meet saying he was stuck. He had a flat tire in Belleville and he couldn't get to where we were.
Yeah.
And he was sending an Uber to fetch the stuff. The Uber duly arrived. He provided me with proof of address, proof of payment, all kinds of documentation which later turned out to be completely false. And there went all my camera equipment. I was absolutely livid.
Yeah, I'd be
kicked
angry.
myself for
I'd be
days.
angry.
And the people that I was forced to sell the stuff because they demanded it, I no longer have any dealings with them. That's another story for another day, eh?
Wow. Yeah, like, I think it's bad luck. These guys are so good. So good. Sorry, Alistair. That's what I'm talking about. You ever been conned by a con artist? I want to know. Leave me a voice note. 0672197893. Number to leave a voice note at. Tammy Singh says, I think that people that do this, they're evil. Yeah. They're thieves, aren't they? Grant says the good news is you will still have or be blessed by helping those people anyway. Do you think so? Do you think that if you help a con artist, it goes into your credit account of being a good person? I hope so. I do hope so. Yeah. What did I want to show you? I got some things I wanted to show you. Just random stuff. You ready? Here's a laugh. Oh, it's not there anymore. Thank goodness, because it was Donald Trump and Joe Biden playing drums together. So I'm trying not to get into trouble with Facebook and YouTube. And maybe that was just a divine intervention. Chad Thomas says con artists are confident and convincing. It's their livelihood. Yeah. It is, eh? So, buyer beware. Next time someone comes to you with a deal that's too good to be true, know that it is. Tammy agrees with Grant, says the universe rewards good deeds. It doesn't help when all your camera gear's gone or your 800 Rand lighter in your pocket and it was the money you were going to use for food. Is it just Alistair and I that have been conned? The rest of you have never been conned? You're smarter than the two of us? Is it? Is it just Alistair and I who've actually been conned? And you haven't? Really? Have you never ever been conned? What about when someone convinces you they're just a wonderful potential life partner and they know they're not? That's a con. What about when you go to the mechanic and they tell you your engine needs an overhaul and all it needs is oil? That's a con. What about when a politician tells you, vote for me and I'll fix all of these problems? That's a con. The devil has pearly white shiny teeth, I tell you. Now, Cheryl says she's never been conned. Should be badges for people who've never been conned. You wear a badge, so I've never been conned. Tammy says she's too ashamed to chat. So that's the problem, the embarrassment. You don't want to admit it. Most of the time, you don't even tell your best friends or your family that you just got conned. You just keep quiet about it. It's embarrassing, right? By the way, you can call that number as well. It's not just for voice notes. You know, we're introducing the talkback to the show, slowly but surely. You can just call in, and I'll answer, and then we'll chat like we're old friends. Some of us are old friends, some of us are new friends on the Tom London Show. Some people like Charlie Smith are regular callers, but I'm looking for yours. Perhaps we'll take a call before the end of the show. We got, 7-8 minutes left on the hour? I gotta tell you, I started the show feeling a bit because it was Monday and another internet problem, but we got on. And we've done an hour, so I'm feeling happier. Grant says I can tell a tale or two, late nights after gigs, casinos, seen some interesting things. I had a meeting at a casino about a month ago, and I Ubered there. And then when I was at the casino, I thought, I'm going to have a problem getting an Uber out of here. So I requested, and it said, your driver is 1 minute away. And then he came out of the casino, and he said, thank goodness you requested me. I said, why? He said, because I just spent $200, and it was my last $200, and then your request came in, and it was 200 Rand the ride, and he said, you saved me. And I thought, China Bean, I'm not sure if I can save an Uber driving gambling addict. I don't think I'm that good. We had a chat in the car. It was mostly about the odds on blackjack. Kerry Warren wants to know, what about the cons conning women out of money, promising ever? Okay, so now we can talk. Now, this is one I love, by the way, Kerry. Thanks for bringing that up, and good to see your name on the screen. Welcome to the show. Have you watched those, what is it, 90 Days to Wed? Is that the program? I went through a stage where I was watching it constantly. And you would have, like, Norma Jean out of Georgia, some small town, ladies in her late 50s, early 60s. And she's been chatting to some guy on the internet, and he's from Ghana. And I mean, when you watch it, you go, come on, lady, can't you see you're being conned? And she's got her phone all the time. She's like, Lafiki's going to call any moment now. Oh, my. And then he calls, and he's like, how are you, baby? And she's like, oh, my angel, I can't wait to see you. I'll be there at the end of the month. I can't wait to see Ghana. Then they follow her, gets on the plane, goes off to Ghana, finds out the guy's already got a wife. But not after spending $10,000 at the stores around Accra. And she refuses to believe he's milking her for money. Right, and even when she gets on the plane and goes back to America with her whole family and all her friends saying, Norma Jean, couldn't you see you were being conned? We could all see it from here to Missouri. Damn, lady. Didn't you see that you were being conned by the Fiek? She's like, maybe he'll change his mind and leave his wife for me. The Australians get taken all day long, eh? Australian oldies. You got to know. If you're a guy, you got to know. I mean, I'm learning this as I turned 50 last year, right? You're not going to have people throwing themselves at you. You know, now and then maybe, if you're lucky. But, you know, nobody just says hello on a chat, on Messenger. You've never met them before. And they go, hi, baby. And then, if you're an idiot, you reply, oh, hello, how are you? I'm fine, I love your profile pic. Oh, thank you very much. Where are you from? I'm from Thailand. We want a relationship with you. Send money. My mother needs heart transplants. Send money now. Anything for you, Petal. I always think of that. Hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. Con artists. Here's one from Brendan. I had a upholstery guy steal my dashboard. What? I had a upholstery guy steal my dashboard and front seats from a classic Porsche I was building. Legit looking business act. They collected my school fees, he says. I paid them a deposit, gave them a set of front seats to do, and they brought the dash back and needed a few touch-ups. I never saw the dashboard or seats again after that. Try getting a replacement of those was incredibly hard. First and last time I get caught like that. I hope so. That's what I said after the first time. And then there was the second. Tammy says this person convinced me he wants to open a business. When it was time to show me the business he opened, he started threatening me. So I guess this shows a public service announcement tonight. It's a warning. If you cruising around Joburg and you need a doctor and you happen to knock on the door of Dr. Matthew Lani, you take your chance. I still think a doctor con artist with Google at their fingertips has got a good shot at getting it right. But I know I'm not supposed to say it. I reckon the diagnosis, you see, I got a theory. I think when you go to the doctor or you go to hospital, they got a 50% chance of actually diagnosing you properly. That's where it all starts. That's where it goes wrong. I mean, if Dr. Matthew had, up at 50%, he could compete, but ain't got the certificate. And it's one of those things that you need a certificate for. Thank goodness you don't need a certificate for broadcasting. People have asked me many times, what do you need to be, here's my favorite broadcasting question from people who are thinking about being broadcasters. They go, Tom, what kind of qualification do you need to be a broadcaster? And I always laugh. And I go, you need to be able to talk rubbish for at least an hour. Sit in front of the mirror and talk to yourself for 1 hour without stopping. There's your qualification. You're going to be a talk show host and a broadcaster. Or you got to practice that thing that radio DJs do, the music DJs. I left that business like 25, 30 years ago, music radio. Music radio is all about the link. Music radio is all about the link. It's all about Cold 107.2. Yeah, that was another triple play by Lady Gaga, Elton John, and Stevie Nicks. Coming up in the next half hour, Super Sweep, we got the news in 5. They got to talk like that, get you into the music and the groove. And here comes another great classic from our friends down south. Something like that. Radio DJs. You try date someone when you're young and the father says, what do you want to be when you grow older? And you say a radio DJ. They advise your daughter to dump you. I promise you it happens. Happened to me. Lyle! Not again, Lyle. Lyle, you were fed 2 hours ago. Just ignore him. Lyle the laughing donkey. Coke's almost finished. Show's almost finished. 90-Day Fiancé, says Kerry. That's it. 90-Day Fiancé. Have you seen the other one, The Ultimatum? The latest series isn't that good, but the first one was great. Ultimatum, they take a couple where the one is saying, come on, let's get married, and the other's saying, I'm not ready. And then they take a whole bunch of these people and they put them in a room and they say, right, you can swap. Right? So your girlfriend that's not ready, she's going to go with someone else for a week. And you can pick someone who is ready and see whether you get along. You see guys start proposing. They weren't going to propose at all. They start proposing at the table before their girlfriend goes off with another guy. Darling, I just realized I'm in love with you and you have my heart and please will you marry me? Desperate, eh? Desperate not to let them get taken by someone else. I don't know if I'll ever get married. I blame my father and Cliff Richard. It's all Cliff Richard's fault that I'm not married. It's not me. It's Sir Cliff Richard's fault I'm not married. And my dad. Between Cliff Richard and my father, they set me back at least 50 years when it comes to marriage. My dad, when I was a young boy, would come into my room at night and he'd stand at the side of my bed before I went to sleep and he'd go, son, you are a bachelor boy and that's the way to stay. Happy to be a bachelor boy until you're dying. Should have sung that song differently, hey, especially the dying day part. Happy to be a bachelor boy until your dying day. So every night of my young life, I think I was imprinted. I was programmed by my father to be a bachelor boy for the rest of my life. I'm fighting that. I would like to get married. I'm running out of time. Tick tock, tick tock. I actually met Cliff Richard about 15 years ago or so. He came out to the country to do a concert at the Dome, and I was asked if I would MC the concert, and I said yes. Dome's a nice venue, 20, 30,000 people in front of you. It's a nice gig. I enjoy that. And Cliff Richard had a press conference, and I was at the press conference, and then somebody said to me, cause trouble. It was a boss of mine, actually. I was given permission to cause trouble. And we were told we weren't allowed to ask about Cliff Richard's love life. And I understand that. I didn't need to, but I was told to cause trouble. So I grabbed a microphone when it came to Q&A time and I said, Sir Cliff, do you know that you're the reason I didn't get married? And Sir Cliff went white, like proper white. And I could see his PR and publicity people ready to pull him out of the interview and the press conference. And I said, I'll tell you why, because my dad used to come to me every day of my life and go, son, you are... And you could see Cliff Richard, just the relief on his face. And I said, and by the way, I'm emceeing your concert tomorrow night. And he said, great. And then the next day, and here's the kicker in the story, the next day I went early to the venue to do a sound check. And when I walked into the dome, it was empty. There were no people there, except Cliff Richard on the stage with his band, checking instruments and volume levels and stuff, and ding, 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 ta 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 ta. And then he saw me and he went, Tom. And then Cliff Richard and his entire band sang Bachelor Boy to me. I was the only person in the dome standing in front of the stage with the guy who ruined my life singing Bachelor Boy to me. There's one for the memory bank, eh? Silly stories. I hope you enjoy them. I do hope you enjoy them. Barry Boger says, your dad is magic. We met for coffee and 4 hours later we said cheers, but could have carried on. Yeah, I get my talking from my dad. I suppose my mom as well. Alistair Jameson says, I always said I would never get married, and I try to raise my boys the same way. I'm not like that, right? I do want to get married. I do. I just haven't found the right person. I'll keep saying that. Although, I do have someone in mind, but I can't say her name. It's like a secret. And I don't think I'm allowed to discuss my relationships on... I would love to discuss my relationships on air. I've wanted to discuss my past relationships, but I think I'll get hit with a lawyer's letter. But I do live in hope that someday someone will find me good enough to marry and die with at the end. That's the goal, isn't it? The goal is you get married and you try and make some happiness, and then one of you dies. Maybe both of you at the same time, if you're lucky. That's the best you can hope for. Is 50 years, you've been together, you go for a trip overseas, the plane plunges into the water, and at your joint memorial service, your kids can say, couldn't have happened any other way. It was written in the stars. If you're lucky. Otherwise, one of you goes, and then the other one finds a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Something like that. Are we done for the night? I've done an extra 7-8 minutes because I felt bad about coming on the air late. I think we'll leave it there tonight. Got another show at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Listen, thank you. If you've been watching this from YouTube, it's nice to see more people climbing on board the YouTube live stream and watching post live. We really do appreciate it. So hello to our YouTube viewers. And then on Facebook, once again, a reminder, you could be watching on my personal page. The official page is at that address, at the Tom London Show. And remember, you can send voice notes at any time. You know, you could be, it could be the middle of the night and you have a thought. Send me a voice note. You could see something funny, take a picture and send it to me. You might have a question you want to ask me, send me a voice note. You may have a thought or a comment or whatever it might be. That voice note number is open 24 hours a day. You can send it to me, we may use it on the show. Barry Bowditch has been quite active on the show tonight, and I just want to see, Barry did send me something. Barry sent me a hello from Belito, and he sent me a picture. So let me just show you what Barry Bowditch sent before I say good night. That's from Barry. It's one of Barry's photographs. Barry takes great wedding photographs, by the way. If you're in KZN and you need a wedding photographer, you get hold of Barry Bowditch. He takes the best. When I get married someday, Barry's going to be my photographer. And I think I'm done. You done? You done for the night? We'll catch each other again tomorrow. Listen, once again, this show has been put together for you. This is not a show where I'm looking for 1 million viewers on one show. I am literally wanting to build this one human connection at a time. So, if you and I have made a connection in the last week, and you've returned thank you. We'll keep connecting. We'll keep building this together. We'll strap our legs together, not all of them, just 2 of them, and we'll do the 3-legged race through podcasting and the broadcasting world side by side, you and me. If you're ever lonely, remember you can catch me at 9 o'clock Mondays to Fridays on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. If you're sitting with your family, thinking of something to do, someone to connect with and someone to say hi to, 9 p.m. Facebook Live and YouTube Live, The Tom London Show. I serve you. I am here for you. I do this for you. And hopefully someday an advertiser will give me some money. And I will make money out of you. We'll see. In the meantime, let me say that I thoroughly enjoy my 60 minutes with you every Monday to Friday. Nothing brings me more pleasure. Well, can't discuss that. Very few things bring me more pleasure than 60 minutes with you on the couch, on the Tom London Show, every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m. I wish you a good sleep tonight. The kind of sleep I wish you is this kind of sleep. I hope you go to bed and have sweet dreams and that you fall into a deep sleep and that you have the alpha and beta and theta and delta waves buzzing in your head for the next 8 hours. Best sleep you've ever had. I hope you sleep as deeply as this lady. Alright, here we go. She about to go sleep for the night. Yeah, pretty mama. Don't worry, it's just one of those spinnabaloo rides or something where you're in the cube or the bowl is going to go helter-skelter and do 3,060-degree turns. She looks ready.
Are you ready?
But I'm warning you. Right. And sleep. Yeah, sleep, baby. That's it. You sleep. Lalapanzi. Lalapanzi, baby. There we go. She's gonna wake up now after a deep sleep. Come on, wake up. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. Yeah, what did I miss? That's it from me, Tom London, to you. Wherever you find yourself in South Africa or this beautiful world of ours, despite all the problems, I wish you a restful sleep. I hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow. More than anything, I hope you join me 9 o'clock tomorrow night for some more fun and interaction. You make some friends in the comment section. We build the greatest friendship club in the world. Until then, I miss you already.